Okay, so one of the selling points of Runeterra is that, for a lot of people, is that the decks are very affordable. Now, this deck is playing more of the epic rarity cards than normal, so compared to a lot of Runeterra decks, it's very expensive. This deck costs $28. So we are letting our inner Timmies free with Ori and Sol here. So new big dragon in Targon from the latest set. So has Fury, so whenever it kills a unit in combat, it gets a little bit bigger. Has Spell Shield. Love, love, love Spell Shield on the various giant dragons in this game, because Spell Shield means that your giant dragons don't just die to Doomblade. They get to get into combat at least once usually and beat people up, which is wonderful. When you play Ori and Sol, it invokes, which means it lets you pick from 3 celestial cards from a pool that costs 7 or more. If you're not familiar, there's a very limited pool of celestials, so I've really liked the invoke mechanics. So there are, looks like 8 total cards that cost 7 or more, all of which tend to be very, very powerful. The better call, the call part of Sol here, is repairing it with War Mother's Call, the Freljord card. So 12 mana, very powerful top end spell. Summon the top ally of your deck right away and each round. So while this deck does have a number of cheap units like Sentry, like Shield Bearer, like Troll Scavenger, and Kindly Tavern Keeper to help keep us alive, we've also got a number of chunky monkeys like Hearthguard and Steelacorn and Trundle to kind of help us hit big things pretty consistently. We've also got a couple of Uzagar the Ancient here. So another new mechanic from Call is the Behold mechanic, which says if you behold a card, have it in your hand, or play that costs 8 or more, this gets a bonus. So if you have an expensive thing, this is a 4/3 for 2. Our second champion is that Trundle that I glazed past. He generates an Ice Pillar when you play him out, and he levels when he sees you play it. And Ice Pillar is another card that helps you behold. So it's an 8 mana spell that gives you your mana back when you play it and helps you control the board a little bit. And then Trundle's leveled mode closes the game out very quickly. So it has Overwhelm in addition to Regeneration, and every time it attacks, it gets permanent extra attack for every 8+ cards you have. So let's hop on into some games here with this and see if we can put some giant dragons into play and beat some people up. Sure, did I say spell? It's a unit. Unit that helps you control the board. Alright, so they are playing Fizz Tarek, so almost certainly something aggressive. I'm going to mulligan both my expensive cards. I'm going to keep my Winding Stones because they're ramp, and I'll keep Brittle Steel. Grinding Stones gives you an extra mana at the start of the round, which is one of the reasons, this card is one of the reasons I have so many 5-drops in my deck, because if you play this on 3, you can play a 5-drop the following turn. Let's you ramp up into that. This is our other piece of ramp. So this heals your Nexus and gives you an empty mana gen, but it costs 5, but this can be used with spell mana since it's a spell, so you could also play this on turn 3. I think because I have Grinding Stones lined up here, I'm going to go ahead and play this out. Get my blockers down. Yeah, I think the Behold ramp is a little bit medium overall. I think it's a little bit too hard to enable consistently. Having to play a bunch of 8-drops in your deck is a real cost. Having all these Frostbites here against Fizz is real nice.
Oh yeah, that's a pretty sparkle fly.
This heals an ally and our Nexus 3, which is great.
Beauty and
There's a Trundle, who's also great. These are troll lands, chat. Get out of here. Wow, that's good. So Tarek recast whatever spell you put on him onto his ally next to him. So he's gonna get to recast Moonglow onto Fizz.
To protect all, never submit.
Nothing's tougher than a troll.
Fizz is elusive here because they played a spell for the turn, so can't block him. And that's a permanent spell shield, so I'm gonna have to break through that with something at some point.
The War Mother will unite us all.
And a Revitalizing Roar.
There's another
Kind of better than War Mothers. No, Revitalizing Roar doesn't pull the monsters out of your deck, so it requires you to draw Asol. So it's not so much like... I would encourage you to remove the idea of strictly better from your card playing vocabulary, because most of the time, especially in well-designed games, things aren't strictly better, strictly worse, they're just different. You can also technically War Mothers before you can use Revitalizing Roar. With, because Revitalizing Roar, you can't make something cheaper unless you're Enlightened, whereas you can War Mothers on 9 if you're banking spell mana.
protector.
So opponent's getting on the board here, but I'm going to get to...
Sapphire, gem of our divine patron.
I'm going to get to, like, Frostbite some things, and I've got some healing, which is nice. Pillar's gonna get to make things vulnerable here as well.
Unyielding. Never submit. There is nowhere left.
Tarek levels really quickly. Yeah, alright.
This is our homeland.
That's elusive. Yeah, there's a lot of variation of this archetype. People are still trying to figure out what's good. So if I Harsh Winds, I break the spell shield, but that doesn't really help me, right? I think I just take the hit here. And then I can play Resplendent Stellacorn. Yeah, there isn't really an incentive for things to be strictly better, is also correct. Whereas like Magic has a monetary incentive to make cards that are strictly better, strictly worse. Other Stellacorn's bigger. It doesn't really matter, right?
Shiver in your boots. Hail to the king.
I have not, Mr. 3000. Mostly been playing decks with new cards. So this is vulnerable now, so that's nice. So we can hook that with Stellacorn here. They probably have protection of some sort.
Take forever, why don't you?
Heckle them. Heckle them, Trundle. Get in their head.
Bow to your king. This is gonna be fun.
Let's see what kind of protection they have here. Nothing. Alright. I'm about it. Okay, I think we just play Stellacorn out here.
My bout, my rules.
Create a fleeting sleep with the fishes. Deal 2 to an ally and 2 to the enemy nexus. Okay. And then I think I'm also going to Catalyst here, which heals me back to 20. And then I can Asol next turn, potentially. If we draw him.
You wanted wrath.
Oh, did I miscount? No, yeah, we're good. We're good.
This
Magical levitation requires concentration.
My faith protects me.
Celestial power.
The Teemo Diane aggro deck we just got done playing felt really reasonable.
No use, bro.
Yes, we are currently dressed up with nowhere to go. We do not have any of our ramp payoffs currently. Really need Asol or Call.
Who likes that up, eh?
So killing this gives them a bunch of gems for Teemo, which probably, or for Fizz, which probably isn't good. Yeah, Diana Nocturne's been really sweet. Asol or Call would be great. We've got 5 of those, 3 of these and 2 calls, so we're 13 cards into our deck without any of them.
I promised a bloodbath.
Well, this makes Sleep with the Fish on our turn, too. That's really good. Yeah, I think we're just dead shit.
The trolls are going to war. Ready when you are. Always ready.
That's a good thought. I wanted a lot of life gain against aggro, but yeah, Babbling's probably a decent suggestion. As a card that slipped my mind when I was putting this together. You're right, having more payoffs that also aren't super clunky is nice. Can't play my opponent's cards, the hell I can't.
One smack'll do.
You were misguided.
I'm too airborne.
Well, we just had a set release, Atomic, so people don't really have a good base on everything that's stellar at the moment. One of the subs in the Discord channel has been playing Lulu with Fiora, and said that that felt pretty reasonable. Yeah, let's add some Babblings. That was a pretty unfortunate draw. We just didn't hit any of our like bunch of payoffs in our top half of our deck almost. Maybe I get rid of the Stellacorns altogether between Catalyst and Tavern Keeper. Maybe I get rid of the Tavern Keepers, actually. I have a bunch of 2s. I kind of like having a bunch of 5s with Rinding Stones and Catalyst. Just like get more bombs in my deck. I like that suggestion. Try 3 Babbling. You want to get rid of Catalyst? No, we're a ramp deck. I want my ramp cards. The goal is to play like 5 drops on 4 and like get to my Orient Soul ahead of curve. Get to my War Mother's Call ahead of curve. Trundle, Asol. So they're another go big deck. So I think I'm actually going to keep War Mother's Call in my opener. It enables Behold for this, and I just want, like, guaranteed want a bomb when we get there. So turn 9, turn 10 rolled up here. Easiest game to get into. I'm fed up with the non-games of Magic and randomness of Hearthstone. So the randomness isn't a core mechanic of Runeterra. There are basically no non-games in Runeterra. The vast majority of the time that I experience non-games in Runeterra, it's because I'm experimenting with the deck and the deck's not very good. As for how easy it is to get into, I think if you have a background in Magic and Hearthstone, it's super easy to pick up. Their in-game tutorial and series of challenges is very, very good. I'd recommend just installing it on mobile or PC and playing through those. They'll teach you the core game mechanics really well. So we have our payoffs guaranteed here, though, but opponent has ramp and we don't so far. Which could be important. We've got some beatdowns to start here, though. That's a big in. So just have to pass here. Unfortunately, you can only bank 3 spell mana, so we're burning 2 more off here. Our curve here is a little bit awkward. Maybe I should have mulliganed everything except call, trying to find a piece of ramp. Just gonna take the hit for 4 here. This has regeneration, so unlike most things, this heals at the end of turn, so I don't really want to chump block.
We fight for one Freljord.
Getting double Hearthguard down
So many
will be great before we War Mother's Call.
not you.
So I'm at 6 mana right now. I'll be at 7 on their turn. So if I play this out on their turn, on my next turn, I'll be able to War Mother's Call.
Many tribes under one banner.
So we'll go ahead and play this out here. And then next turn we'll do this, and the following turn we'll get to call, which will start drawing us lots of units. So they're going up to 9 mana here. If they're a call variation as well, we could see them call next turn.
It's always cold in the Freljord.
There is a command, Diamante. I think it's LOR to MTG or something like that. There's definitely a command for it, though. Now, our and this is some of the awkwardness of the way this deck is built. Our curve's been super awkward this game. We've had a ton of resources that we've just been spewing. We haven't been able to leverage our spell mana very well. Hopefully, the payoff of War Mother's Call is going to make up for how clunky our deck's been this game. And this power level is just going to put us over the top. So they hooked our thing there. That hook actually isn't very good for them, right? Because these deal 1 damage to all battling units. So if they hook that there, these trade. It's like, do they even want to attack with all of these?
Gonna be fun.
So if I put this here, those will trade in combat, right? I can put this here as a free chump block, because none of these are overwhelmed. This one's overwhelmed. They might have some kind of combat trick to keep this alive. Nope, they're just trading Trundle. Maybe they have another Trundle. So I have 3 spell mana banked. I'm going to fill up to 9 crystals next turn, because I'm going to gain 1 plus Rinding Stones, and we'll get to War Mother's Call. Now, if they have an Orient Sol, things are going to get really silly really quick.
Your favorite star. I created it. They think themselves cold.
So their Orient Sol is going to level here because they have 20 power.
Admire me.
I only have 18 power. That's so unfortunate. I can't Brittle Steel either of these. I can kill their thing here at least. I can't. I don't have any mana.
The constellations bow to me.
So, can we win? So, leveled Orient Sol makes your celestial cards cost 0. So, can we beat their leveled Orient Sol here? I've got War Mother's Call going. But, yeah.
Be quiet.
It's pretty good.
Hello, Runeterra. Let's rock. That's quite enough.
Well, none of their stuff has provoked yet. Oh, there's the challenger. Yeah, the fact that... Alright, we're dead. they got to level him up first. Now they're just showing off. Yeah. Yeah, that was, so like our deck has more payoffs in it than theirs, but they had ramp and we didn't faster, which allowed them to level their thing quicker. This deck's probably the least interactive of all the decks we played today. We're definitely just like trying to do our thing, and their thing happened before ours. Early in level is game over. That's not true. We've actually beaten that on stream before. Is Troll Scavenger good enough to keep this against Sejani Gangplank? I think so. I think I'm gonna keep all these actually. I don't know. That's a question. Like, I don't know that that's a question you can answer without having a lot of experience. Like, are you always supposed to mulligan 2 ramp spells?
Let's get to it.
I don't think that's a super straightforward calculation. In general, for folks that are new, I told my chat to a little bit higher degree of card recommendations than a lot of other streamers. So if you're going to make a card recommendation, please make sure you're constructive and specific. Ideally say why the card's good, what problem you think our deck has that it's solving, and also importantly, what you would replace with it. Like, games like Runeterra have so many cards in them, there's lots of permutations of things. And you need a good, consistent way to narrow them down. Yeah, maybe playing this out was wrong in the face of a Make It Rain deck. Maybe supposed to play out Scavenger or Shield Bearer there. They're gonna get to open on attacks and hit me again next turn.
Time to get rich. Footprints here.
Yeah, I think I messed up last turn by playing out the wrong thing.
Forward in the name of the Solari.
Should play Thoughtseize. This is a well-designed game that doesn't have cards like Thoughtseize. The War Mother will unite us all. How's this list felt? Well, we just lost an Asol mirror where they had ramp and we didn't as our first game, so off to a bit of a rough start. But our archetype won. It just wasn't us that won with it.
Aren't any gods here? Just me.
Man, this card seems really good. 5/6 on a 5-drop is like a really good stat line.
I promised a bloodbath.
Okay, so if I get down Rinding Stones this turn,
Cut 'em out.
I get to
Protects me.
play an 8-drop next turn.
First.
Is it always mulligan for your ramp? Nah, I think that's super reductionist. Generally speaking, things that tell you to always do something, never do something, are not things worth listening to in card games. Or if they are worth listening to, your card game's not very good. Gosh, I think we're just gonna get gunned down here, huh? This does 2 and it does 2 again next turn. They've got a bunch of powder monkeys lined up. Really need to draw some of my, need to draw some of my healing, huh?
Lock the doors. Smash them. Leave the free.
I think I have to do this because I think it's important that I kill Jack here.
Yes, crack ice and flesh. Like you.
Oh, you know what? I'm probably supposed to attack to force these to block so they can't sleep with the fishes. That.
Treasures of the ages for a price.
Yeah, I think I was supposed to attack with more things there.
Open wide, sugar.
Much to splinters.
Every point counts, chat. High value frostbite, yep.
These biggest tombstones.
We're gonna play Ori and Sol, he's gonna level and we're gonna die. Alright, we only took one off of a shark, that's pretty good.
Hello, Runeterra. Let's rock. Data is stolen.
Come flying.
Why do we need to obliterate their board, chat? We're either gonna get burned out or we're gonna kill them. Yeah, I built this deck Mega Manic to be have respect for aggro decks in mind. So I assume we're gonna get burned out here, that's why they're killing their own things with Parlay to be cheeky. The old American warning shot.
Well, this certainly isn't my fault.
Hey, remember that time I cut the thing that healed me 3 and added Babblingberg into my deck after we got a little bit unlucky? And that time I started the deck with more healing, and then I listened to Twitch chat and we died. Beverage Farm remembers. I'm gonna split the difference and get 2 back in here. Listening to Twitch chat, a classic mistake. Yeah, I think that's about. The 2-mana cantrip that heals. Nah, I think I'd rather have units so I can heal with War Mothers. No, I named the deck Better Call Asol, and yeah, it's a Breaking Bad reference. We have War Mother's Call and Aurelian Soul. War Mother's Call won't heal with Tavern Keeper. Yeah, I didn't say it did. Tavern Keeper is a good card that heals us that we get to play. So I'm aware of how it interfaces with War Mother's Call. It's a card to help keep us alive as we work to get to War Mother's Call. Because by the time we get to Call, we'll hopefully be winning the game. It's a little terrifying in our deck that can't interact. So far, we've been getting out lineared in the ramp mirror.
Many tribes under one banner.
Thanks, Robin. Yeah, I try not to have downtime. I'm not someone that plays music while I stream, and one of the things that's great about Runeterra is that there's usually enough going on in a game that you can always be talking. Do I want to attack Hearthguard into this? What are the odds they're playing the 3-mana Frostbite? Probably low. They could be playing the Troll Guard spell, though. And with this having regeneration, the blowout if they have a combat trick's just too high, so I think I just pass here. Riposte? Yeah, that could be true. They're Garen Trundle, too, so, like, Riposte seems good with both of those. So I'm at 6 mana right now. I'll be +2 next turn, so I'm 2 turns off of War Mother's Call. Hello, lovely wife. How are you doing? How are the children for the rest of their school day? Fine.
Break their ranks! Charge! They're out there. I'll spot them.
How am I liking the new set so far? I like it a lot. The new sets are always kind of like a good reminder of like, this is really unfortunate. They're gonna kill one of my ramp pieces. So it's like 1000% have a combat trick here, so I'm just gonna chump block.
Light the signal fires. Stay resolute. Nothing escapes my watch.
Yeah, they killed our 0-4 only makes mana while it's in play. Wow, that's good. Here, definitely just getting handled in these games. So I'm going to 8 on their turn, which means I'm going to War Mother's Call the next turn, so I can Harsh Strike to, at the very least, keep Garen from leveling, which is nice. And I can keep this from killing something. And you get double Asols on the field of War Mother's Call? Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
The wicked must fall. There you are.
I think they're going to combat trick this. I don't think they're just going to trade. They made attacks earlier that felt like they weren't going to trade, so I'm going to block here. And then if they trick it, I can trick you back. And this prevents him from leveling, because when he has 0 power, I believe he doesn't strike, is how this works. If I recall correctly.
For the cause! Alert the village!
Oh, this has Overwhelm. I missed that had Overwhelm. So we're going to bank our spell mana here, because we're going to go up to 9, and then we'll War Mother's Call. And then we're going to hope that War Mother's Call can drag us kicking and screaming across the finish line, chat.
What did you find?
Okay, there's Trundle. And now War Mother's Call triggers every turn now here, so he's got to hope to high roll a little bit.
Tread.
Looking for some Ugscars of our own. Yes, playing some of the Frostbite cards with Hush could be okay. It definitely feels like at least what people are currently playing, that the format's a little bit bigger, and Brittle Steel's been kind of underwhelming. Oh, Sunburst Daybreak doesn't trigger on these. That's funny.
Scatter this Trollland. Break the ranks. Look out for Reavers.
Do you judge a deck good by the number of Lulu emotes you use and bad by the number of Diana? So Garen's really scary here. So his Garen's leveled lets them... Garen's level mode lets them rally on our turns. Which is something... Maybe I should have let this die, actually. Because then I could have, like, drawn Asol.
I will bring honor to the
This deck's been real bad so far. Are we dead? I think we're dead. It's really weird, chat. It's almost like being super linear and not interactive at all isn't good for Runeterra, and just trying to ignore my opponent and ramp up. I want to get rid of all the Brittles. Yeah, maybe it is just all of them. I have these three things down low on the curve, plus Tavern Keeper for the aggro decks. I also would like to commend Ant Faden there for taking their break like a champ and then coming back and giving an excellent detailed response about why we should add Hush to the deck and offering a good suggestion on what we could potentially cut for it. If I could thumbs up post in chat, I would thumbs that one up. I'm gonna keep Shieldbreaker because they're probably aggressive with Leona. They'll have like the cheap Daybreak cards themselves. When I'm mulligan these looking for some acceleration.
Raise your weapons, Sunway. Devotion to battle.
Like Resplendent and Tavern Keepers are pretty medium, I think. I mean, like, it's really easy. Like, I feel like suggesting I cut my cards that keep me alive after I lost 2 Ramp Mirrors is like pretty peak Twitch chat, especially when like I let Twitch chat talk me out of cutting Tavern Keeper and then we lost a match. We lost a match to Burn in the middle because I cut Tavern Keeper. Like, when I'm playing Ramp Mirrors, it's very easy to armchair it and be like, okay, you should cut your cards that heal because you keep losing Ramp Mirrors. Like, there's lots of things in the format. I think it's silly to, like, knee-jerk change our deck when we have a good plan. Like, here's the thing. Theoretically, if our War Mother's Call deck can't beat the other rampant control decks in the format, I think we just take our deck and spike it into the garbage can, because the thing War Mother's Call is supposed to be good at is it's supposed to be good at going over the top of other people. So theoretically, Twitch chat, yeah, that's what Zero Hots just said is exactly correct. Twitch chat basically likes to try and sideboard against the deck we just lost to. I think is a super accurate assessment. No, it's not because of what I just said. My deck, and again, this is why the theory is so important. My deck has an incredible amount of top end with War Mother's Call and Orion's Sol, and if that top end's not good enough, I'm not interested in playing this deck. Like, if my conclusion is I need more top end in my deck that's already playing War Mother's Call and Orion's Sol, my deck's just not good enough. Like, ideally, the thing that should be beating our deck with an incredible amount of top end is things that get under us, so hedging the matchup with things that get under us makes the most sense from a deck building standpoint. Which is why I started with the Tavern Keepers, and I let chat talk me out of them, and it was a bad idea.
The War Mother will unite us all.
That's the theory, Innuendo. If we're losing it, the theory is we're gonna lose because people get under us, and my position is if that's not the reason we're losing, our deck's probably garbage, and we'd rather just play whatever deck is beating us. Like, if there's a different deck with more ways to go big, I'd rather just play that instead. So, Hearthguard is in the deck, and I think it's good because, one, with our cards that ramp on 3, I want a critical mass of 5 so I can play a big card on 4 after I ramp. Second is that because I have all of these cheap units in my deck, Adversarian Hearthguard makes my War Mother calls better even if they hit a couple of weaker units to start. So Hearthguard makes War Mother's Call more powerful because it makes everything in my deck better. We're like setting up to try and get to War Mother's Call, so when we get there, we don't want it to be embarrassing. And this card makes our smaller units a lot less embarrassing. Okay, and sweet. So I was going to play the Ancients here, but with this draw, we'll play Rinding Stone so we can stick this next turn. You think Hush should target champions? Yes, definitely. I've heard people complaining or talking poorly about this card. I think this card is great. I think this effect is something that's reasonable to have in the format. I think one of the reasons why I've really enjoyed this game is because of the amount of interaction present in it.
Your favorite star. I created it.
Yes, Hush, I completely agree with YC. It is a powerful card that increases interactivity, and I love it. Ori and Sol, ready to go. We're playing Asol Mirror, and we finally got to Asol first because we had ramp and they didn't. Oh, are we gonna hush him to stop him from leveling? I think they're hushing him to stop him from leveling. Sure. You can spend a card doing that. I don't know. As someone who spent many years experiencing a game that doesn't really value having good interaction, I'll take the game that has good interaction.
Now they'll pay attention. The heavens diminish without my attention.
Do I just run back the Hush play on them? Yeah, I just run back the Hush play on them, right?
That's quite enough.
Well, it's gonna get to level, chat. They have 20 power. So I run back the Hush play to stop them from leveling. And then my Ori and Sol levels up. And then this is free, because Ori and Sol leveled, makes your Celestials free. It turns out leveling Asol first in the Asol Mirror is really good.
I'm the forger of stars.
What's going on, Jake?
I got Daddy.
Your father might be dying in the game. Alright, so should have played the spell shield first. Got it. So do I War Mother's Call here? I could Usgar and hook this to prevent them from leveling, but they can probably play 2 more power out here, right? I agree with that. Our War Mother's Call could be another Aurelian, though.
Nothing escapes my watch.
I think there's a chance our deck isn't very good, chat. We've gotten to War Mother's Call and then died a couple of times now. So like,
I do love an audience.
yeah, Magic's been really bad for a little while. I also streamed Magic today though, so like, you know, sometimes you gotta go to work even if you don't like your job. What's up?
I only learned a walk and I cannot play a board.
You just mumbled the heck out of that. What's truly impressive is that War Mother's Call used to be worse. Yeah. What's up, dude? Do you need something?
I cannot put my in my bubbles.
Why not?
They're locked.
They're locked. Are you logged in?
No, well,
Change profile.
I
Okay,
looked.
so I'm gonna play one more game and then I will come help you. Okay? Lise and Tarek. So Hush is absurd. Harsh Winds might also be okay. I'm gonna mulligan. I'm just gonna keep just Hush and mulligan for some ramp here. Yeah, I don't know, Top Hat. Like, it felt like doing the War Mother's Call thing specifically is not particularly good. And like, by the time we get there, we could just cast Orion Soul, and that's just like better. Any hot takes where people are saying Invoke is busted? Yeah, they're really lazy and stupid. I think Invoke's a really well-designed mechanic that's a good example of good variance.
Clad in shining sunlight.
I think there's a lot of people who think anything that has the word random on it is unfair and silly, and those people are very silly themselves.
Now we go.
Yeah, Invoke. I think Invoke is good RNG, especially the Invoke cards that invoke cards from a specific range of costs. I think those are quite excellent.
I'm ready to shine.
Unfortunate here that I don't have anything to do with my mana. Just gotta burn 3 of it. Seagull's Blade, sure. So this is a 4 toughness by default. It gives itself tough when it attacks. I'm gonna play Hearthguard out here, so that way if they attack, I can block and then hush their thing. I don't know. Coming from Magic, seeing people that complain about Runeterra, definitely like my tolerance for nonsense having a Magic background is much higher. Just like magic is constantly nonsense. That's unfortunate. They get to hook my 5/5 now.
Never
So
submit.
there's definitely like some bias on my part
That hurt trolls.
because I'm used to magic. Oh wait, they're doing a thing. Okay, sweet. So Hush will wipe Tough off of this, huh? Everything worked out, chat. Look, I was just baiting them. I knew they had another trick, obviously. Boogie! Let's get you a sword to go with that shield. Thanks for the prime. One could argue I was a master at beating, chat. Just like we drew it up, huh?
Where's my lunch? We hunted for you.
Opponent's play is quite stunning here. I think I'm happy trading the 3/2s here.
Your attack is obvious.
Grind.
Beauty and life.
I think you're right, Jet, that there is a chance that Day is overtuned. The flip side to that, too, though, is the Day archetype, or like the Day package, is also what I would refer to as a pre-con in a card game. So, like, I think it's really easy to build Leona decks well. It's much easier to build those decks well than it is to build other archetypes well. So I think it's easy to kind of write that off as this is too good because it's easy to figure out what's optimal. Hey, Shakti, thanks for the 21 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. I'm glad you're enjoying Runeterra stuff. It's awesome to see a lot of my long-term regulars have popped over. Definitely my favorite card game at the moment.
Look sharp.
So like, I wouldn't if like the Leona decks feel like they're too good a week and a half from now. I think that's something to maybe be concerned about, but the fact that the Leona decks feel really good right now, I think is fine. I think it's early and not a big deal.
Nothing's tougher than a troll.
Like, what other cards you pair with the Daybreak package? Like, so like, Leona has like, what, like 5 or 6 other cards that you guaranteed play with her? They're like a package deal. So like, what other cards go with that package will take some optimization, but like the actual Daybreak core is very easy to find. Yes, Tarek does cast the cards, so his replication does work towards leveling Lee Sin.
My fist.
Their Lee Sin is already leveled, in fact.
What is gained when we return malevolence?
Yeah, I could see that being fine, Jet. Better call Asol. And like, this is kind of a good example of like, does this deck really need to be a War Mother's Call deck, I think? Like,
Your arrogance is impressive.
It is the least impressive thing about me.
that's true, and exactly what Wicked said there. Because this game is managed by people who have the ability to care, if it is overtuned, we won't be waiting 15 months for it to get fixed. This block's actually very bad because it lets me level my Asol. It furies him, so now I have 20 power. No, Asol's not kind of a dick. He's definitely a dick.
At my creation.
Oh, I could have started with Pillar. Yeah, good call. Good call. Yeah, that's better. Thanks for pointing that out.
I do love an audience.
Conflict is all in the mind.
I'll see this through.
All right, opponent is tripping here.
I am the protector of the mountain.
Who would win? A monk and a Tarek, or one dragon boy? They are looking deep for Bastion.
You've been wonderful, as have I.
All right, I think I'm gonna call it a day on this one. Christy, when she came in earlier, told me she had a bit of a migraine, so I'm gonna sign off a little bit early so I can give her some relief from the children. To give a wrap on this, though, I feel like War Mother's Call was kind of unnecessary. I feel like just being an Orion Sol deck and having this as your top end is probably enough, especially because War Mother's Call is just so inconsistent. Like, having to play a bunch of these other units that not only level Sol, but also have an okay early game makes War Mother's Call just a little bit mediocre. I would like to give a shout out to everybody that stuck around for Mogwai's host earlier today. I really appreciate him doing that for us. If you're new to the stream, make sure you hit that follow button. It doesn't cost you anything. I do lots of constructed here every single day. There is a deck queue up on my website where you can see the upcoming decks. So tomorrow, for example, we're going to play Violent Gems and Lucian Ephemerals, most likely. If you have a sweet Runeterra deck, all the decks in here are decks that are submitted by my Twitch subscribers. So you can submit something by using the form there on my website. If you like the way I break down my plays, the way I talk through things, up on my YouTube channel and my website, absolutely everything I stream gets archived in both of those places, and I cut it up deck by deck, so it's really easy to find just the stuff you care about. So there is a playlist here at the top where I tag favorites from both my Magic and Runeterra content, and then there's a playlist down here that is absolutely all of my Runeterra decks that we play in it. I'll be back again tomorrow afternoon. Thanks for hanging out. Stay safe out there, folks.